Hello and welcome to your next episode. This is Tarot Spread where I like to take a peek at what's ahead for you. So this is a pick a card or a pick a color. I have some oracle cards picked out already. We will be pulling tarot cards in each reading. So take a moment to take in these colors. See which one is calling you. We are taking a look in this reading at your next episode. So if your life were a TV show, what is happening in your next episode? Pile number 1, we have Inferno. And I have noticed a tendency with these colors, because I picked them just like tarot cards, so they come out as they want to, and I've noticed a tendency with pile 1 is always this. It's always a bold color. It's always a very me first. Pile number 2, a lot more calm here. Whitewater Bay, it's a nice kind of sage green. And then we have pile number 3, Big Surf, a vibrant light blue. So, I'm going to give you a moment to take in these colors and these 3 piles, whichever one calls you. You can go ahead and head to the description and you'll find the timestamps in there. I will meet you at your reading. Pile number 1, this is your reading if you chose the Inferno Red. We're going to set this down up here along with your oracle card. For now, we will take a look at that in a little bit. So we are taking a peek at your next episode. That includes taking a look at your current energy. We essentially want to see what is the next big development that you're facing. What to expect. What is your current energy? And I'm feeling called to say be aware that current energy doesn't necessarily have to be how you feel like in this exact moment, but can be just the energy that you're going into this next development into. What is your current energy? Okay, we are feeling optimistic and secure and victorious about something. We're feeling good, feeling motivated, on top of things. And then what happens? Oh, Justice in reverse. And with reversals, I always try and go with the flow. I don't have a strict rule on reversals. Because right now I was thinking, did I reverse it? And sometimes the overthinking is not, that's not part of the message, you know? So the way it came out right now is the way it was meant to come out. So the Justice in reverse is there. Does feel like you're feeling pretty good about something, and then something kind of comes in that feels like a slight. Something feels like a little stab in the ribs. Something feels not so good. But I think ultimately this is leading you to, as I said that, I was holding the deck like this, and ultimately I think this is leading you to some type of expansion, some type of taking a closer look at something that is right in front of you. And realizing that there are certain... Okay, I'm getting a very strong message here. It feels like there's some kind of external happening something that someone says, possibly something someone does, but not so much on purpose. It might just be kind of like an offhand remark, something where you realize there's like this shift in perspective. You realize, oh, maybe I'm not on the same page with this person. It leads to some kind of hesitation and reevaluation. Yeah, there's something that you were really sure about, and then there's like a little bump in the road, and it causes you to reevaluate because you're very you're very selective with your energy. You want to be giving your energy and your approval to something or someone, but you're realizing you need to be more discerning, and so you do kind of take a step back and get back to work. This doesn't feel like a setback. This feels like a broadening of your perception, which is good because otherwise we end up being too cocky. Oh, this is interesting. So your energy at the end of this is the Seven of Swords, which the Seven of Swords often gets a pretty bad rep. The Seven of Swords, this guy is leaving this gathering with a bunch of swords. He's often referred to as the trickster. But if we take a look at what swords represent, which is knowledge and wisdom and clarity, does he need all these swords? No. He would be fine with just one or two, but he's taking what he can get. And this is kind of what it feels like. You're taking what you can get out of this situation. Did it feel amazing? No. But you're taking what you can get out of it. I don't think this necessarily hurts you, because you feel pretty stable. Like this feels like I'm hearing like someone knocking you down a peg. I think that's the way the saying goes. But it really just feels like one peg, and you're so high up that one peg doesn't necessarily knock you down from the throne that you are about to approach. But it does give you perspective. It does show you where to watch out. This is kind of like walking around with your head held a little too high. And again, like not necessarily cocky, but being very self-assured. And, this feels like just a little reality check. And this could be, again, something someone says and that they didn't even mean in too much of a negative way, but it kind of shifts the way you perceive things. Or this can really just be, this could be as menial as because this isn't, the way this works is the way this spread works is, this is a story arc. And this is the highest point, right? This is just what sets you off. So this honestly feels like it could be as menial as a traffic ticket. And a traffic ticket that costs you money, and you are kind of upset because it's like you know that you're a good driver, you know that you shouldn't, like in this instance, did you deserve it? Yes. And that's kind of this taking stock of like, okay, I am a good driver, I didn't deserve it really if I take a look at my history of driving, but in that moment, did I deserve it? Yeah, I do need to watch out. And this is really just an analogy, so apply this however it fits into your story, okay? This is very much about like, okay, I'm taking a moment to receive this message that the universe is sending me. I know that I'm still loved and protected by the universe. It's just that there is like an oversight that I needed to be made aware of and that I needed to acknowledge so that I can move forward with more I'm hearing, like, I'm getting the strong image of someone really becoming more aware of their blind spot. This is really what this feels like. Someone becoming aware of a blind spot. Because this card also to me is very much speaking about a blind spot, because, you know, these people way back here, they're not paying attention to what's going on in their tents, and so they are losing these swords because they are not paying attention to their blind spot. But this motivates you to work harder. This could also, I'm getting now, this could also be someone kind of knocking you down when it comes to something that you feel pretty secure about in terms of something that you've studied, something that you're interested in, a hobby, and then somebody trying to come in and be like, well, yeah, but the practice actually is done this way correctly. And it's like, what? But this is something I love. This is something I'm really passionate about. This is something I really know really well. Like, how can it be that I didn't know that? But then you go and take a closer look and you realize, like, okay, I need to maybe reassess, and I have a few more things to study. And also, this is often a card that represents the writer. And so this can really just be about, this is like embellishing and celebrating yourself, and this can really be like taking a step back to really, I'm hearing journal, to really kind of digest on your own through your own writing what kind of development you just went through. I do want to get clarification on the Seven of Swords. That's just kind of the vibes I'm picking up on, but let's see what comes out. Seven of Swords. We got the Tower. And of course the Tower is even more vague, so let's get another one. This again, though, feels like very much like taking what you can get, because the Tower is like a moment, lightning strikes, and these people are falling out of the tower and taking with them only what they can, what they have on them. So it's kind of, I keep hearing this, taking with you what you can. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize the Tower was out of frame. And then we have the Three of Coins with this. Okay, I'm getting another message now, so let me try and readjust this. I'm getting a message now that this could very well have to do with a work situation, because we have the Three of Coins and we have the Eight of Coins. It may have to do, this is interesting, it may have to do with you feeling very secure in your job, and then that security somehow being shaken up, and again, I feel strongly that there's like an expansion happening, though. That even though there's like a shake-up, there's an expansion. Ultimately, I think, although it doesn't feel the best in the beginning, this does feel like an expansion ultimately. But it does feel like moving away a little bit of something that you're comfortable in. So it might be that you're expanding in a way where you are learning different aspects to your job that you've not been trained in previously. This could be, if you're in college, this could be taking classes. This could be kind of like switching up a major. Oh, if you are switching up your major, I think you're not telling people. I think you're kind of secretly taking classes. Likewise, if this is job related, you might be taking classes on your own time because you don't feel as secure in your job anymore, and there's something that's pulling you in another direction, pulling you to pursue a different career or something, and you are kind of working on this in secret. Very interesting. Okay, I don't want to draw this out too long. I'm trying to keep these sweet and short. So we're going to take a look at your oracle card, and your oracle card says rebirth. I think this goes very well with what I was just saying in terms of choosing a different path, like whether it is you working on a side hustle, or being pulled towards a different major in college, or there's just something that seems to be calling you, and it's expanding, and it comes from you not feeling like you're receiving what you need from the place that you're at, even though it might be something that you're really good at. It's almost like you've mastered something and now it's kind of boring. You've mastered something and now it's kind of boring, but a lot of people, I think, would be like, oh my God, but you're so good at it. Like, so people wouldn't understand why you're not satisfied anymore. And so I think that's why you're kind of doing some personal expansion in private and not really telling people. And if that is the case, I do think that that leads to, like I said, just a lot of personal development and expansion. And I think that's really good. And this is part of you uncovering and unfolding aspects of yourself that are meant to be uncovered and unfolded. So I think that is really beautiful. Oh, I was just taking a look, like, what else do I want to pull, or what else do I want to do? And I'm going to roll some dice and see what energies this may be bringing in, what energies may be influencing this. Let's take a look. Okay, we have third house, and this is perfect the way it landed on the Page of Swords, because that's exactly it. And we have Mercury and Cancer. I think that is just beautiful. So the third house is the house of how we think and how we communicate. And so I think there is this reevaluation of how you process. This is also the house of lower education. So if you are feeling drawn to perhaps, if this could be a couple things, just want to throw it out for whoever it might stick to. If you are a teacher in some kind of field of lower education, and by lower I just mean like elementary and such, or if you're thinking about leaving that field, or if you're thinking about joining that field, like this could apply to you, this message. But ultimately, I think there's like a switch that's being flipped in your head, and it is a switch that is like, okay, you've achieved a lot, but now it's like, okay, but what about what you're passionate about? What about the thing that like fills your cup? You're being called to, because in the Eight of Cups, this person turns away from all these cups to go find their ninth cup, to find their wish fulfillment. So this is very much about like, okay, yeah, I've achieved, and yet I don't feel like it's what I deserve, because what I deserve is something that I'm really passionate about and something that really fulfills me. You're looking for that fulfillment, so it's kind of like back to the drawing board. But again, I feel like you're doing this somewhat in secrecy, because I think people would be really having a hard time understanding why you don't feel fulfilled with the achievements that you've already made. And lastly, we have the Cancer energy here. And this is just very much, you know, the idea of, again, doing something in secret and kind of like figuring it out emotionally on your own before you open up to others to let them know. Yeah. Okay. I think I want to leave it there. I hope that this makes sense to you, and I hope that this prepares you a little bit for this very exciting expansion. I think it's awesome. And I think as long as you are following your desires, Spirit is going to assist you in this rebirth. So good luck to you, and I hope to read for you again sometime. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. This is your reading if you chose the Whitewater Bay. We are going to get right into it. We're keeping these short and sweet. I'm going to put this up here for now, and we will take a look at your oracle card in a little bit. For now, we are pulling tarot cards. So this spread is taking a look at what's ahead for you. What is the next major development you're facing? And so for that, we are kicking it off at, what is your current energy? That was fast. Okay. Your current energy, I think you've been putting in some work on yourself, putting some efforts into yourself, doing some self-care perhaps. A lot of self-development, nourishing, which is honestly an awesome place to be. So let's take a look where that is taking you. Ooh, interesting. I was saying nourishing and self-care. I feel like I'm getting this vibe that you've been taking care of yourself a lot physically and in the 3D. Like you've been addressing a lot of, yeah, that's kind of where I thought this might go. You've been addressing a lot of immediate needs. And so then where the story is taking us is you're feeling hopeful, you're feeling like energized, like, yeah, I'm doing it, I'm taking care of myself, and then you're hit with some kind of truth. You're hit with some kind of clarity. You're hit with some kind of, it might be a harsh word. You are hit with some kind of, because I feel like I can hear this sword. I can hear it, and I like hear the clinging and the noise that the blade makes in my ear, like so loud. This is so loud. So this definitely feels like you're receiving some kind of information that cuts to the bone, and it illuminates to you an emotional aspect of your healing that you've not yet addressed. And that's where this comes in, and that's where we draw attention to, oh, ouch, I've been focusing a lot on like these external things. I've been focusing a lot on the things within my control. I've not yet addressed the pains that I'm still healing from. We might have been distracting ourselves a little bit in the best possible way with self-care. Oh my. Oh my. These cards went flying. And they came out together, so I'm taking them together. These belong together. Not necessarily, but in this case, they're coming together. And that is the Eight of Swords and the Magician. So this revealing of information, clarity, whatever it is, this emotional revelation that you encounter causes you to doubt here we are hopeful, we're like, yes, anything is possible. And then also notice that the Fool is the 0, the Magician is the 1. That's then taking the action, being like, all right, let's do this. And once it comes to that part, you're motivated. It's like, yeah, we can do this. And then there's like one bump in the road, and it's like, poof, your House of Cards comes falling down. And it causes a lot of self-doubt, and it causes a lot of, can I actually do this though? I thought I did so much healing. I thought I did so much work on myself. And this one little thing is like tearing me down. Can I actually do it? But the Magician came out with this, which means like, yes, you absolutely can. This pain, whatever triggered you, is not here to show you like, oh, see, you can't do it. It's here to show you you can do it despite that. You can do it with that. You can do it because of that. So let's see where your energy is at the end of this. The Page of Pentacles, and that's beautiful. That is beautiful because it is like this humble piece of hope. And I want you to pay attention to the yellows. There's blues and grays in between, but ultimately you start off good and you end good because you have hope. I think this is absolutely beautiful. And again, we have the Queen of Swords at the bottom, which is taking control of that clarity that you're receiving, taking control of the information that you're processing. And really taking it in and transmuting it. This is absolutely beautiful. But I can absolutely understand how this might be intimidating or confusing and disorienting while you're going through this process, because I really just am getting this vibe of someone focusing very much on their immediate surroundings, and perhaps doing a lot of meditation, trying to be present, trying to not let your emotions run your brain. And then there's something that, just like I said, it cuts right to the bone, and it's like an inflammation of your emotions, and that inflammation is causing, oh my god, I don't know why, but this is how this information is coming out now. Please don't take any offense, or don't overthink it. But I'm just thinking about the way herpes works in the body, and herpes is a virus that you can't get rid of. It is an illness that you contract. Once you contract it, you can't get rid of it. It's just always in your body, and it's dormant. And when I believe, I'm not super educated on this topic, but as far as it is my understanding that sometimes when your body is under a lot of stress, the virus can flare up. So when you are especially vulnerable, when you are under attack, this dormant virus flares up. This is like emotional herpes. I hope this makes sense. This feels like emotional herpes, which is like that pain, some kind of pain that you've gone through in the past, that you've worked on and that you thought you've healed from. I am so sorry, it's never going to go away, but you are learning how to deal with it better and better every time it flares up again. Okay? It is a pain that you can absolutely live with. It is a pain that you can absolutely gain from. And we see this with the yellows at the beginning, at the end of this episode. It's a hiccup. It is very emotional, and I think I'm a water sign, so I feel like emotional turmoil is honestly like some of the worst things that we experience, because it's so immediate, and a lot of times other people don't understand it, how overwhelming it is, and it takes a lot to get through emotional turmoil. If you happen to be watching this around the time that I am uploading this, which is, what is today? Today is the 14th of April. In a few days, on the 16th, we have a full moon in Libra, which is very much speaking to me here because it feels kind of like that could come into play. I mean, we have the moon here. The full moon in Libra is about an illumination in regards to wherever Libra is in our chart, but mainly Libra rules relationships. Okay, so can be all types of relationships. This can be love, this can be friendship, this can be family. But something, it feels like a word, a secret, something, some kind of information that you receive from a loved one, a partner, a friend, family, something like that. It really kind of triggers you and just inflames you. And it is going to cause doubt to creep in, but ultimately, because we have the Magician that came in over this Eight of Swords, covering it up, ultimately you're going to remember who you are. You're going to remember how much work you put into yourself and that anything is possible, and you're really going to run with that, and you're going to really focus on the positive and what you've gained from your efforts that you've put into yourself. So this is beautiful, and I think this is a beautiful confirmation to know whatever is coming at you, you can absolutely feel it, honor how you feel, and then get back to business, okay? So let's take a look at your oracle card. Ooh, we have Who's There? Who's There? Which is very interesting because this could also be, and I think I might have said this at the beginning, that this could be a revelation about just something that you haven't addressed yet, right? So recognizing something in how you are triggered and how you react to something, because again, this doesn't have to be super malicious. This can be just completely objective opinions or an objective piece of information that you receive, and it can still cut you to the bone. This doesn't have to be emotionally loaded, but it triggers you in an emotional way. So then it's really not so much about like, I can't believe they would say that to me. I can't believe this person is talking to me like this, but why do I feel so triggered by what they are saying? Why do I feel so attacked by what they are saying? Really taking a look at who's there, who's in control of how I react, and really just kind of taking stock of how we interact with people and how we then choose to react, which I think you will definitely get a hold of. Like I said, you're going to feel this, and then you're going to get a hold of yourself and be like, okay, but this doesn't have to cloud my whole week. So I think this is really about taking stock of yourself and how you react and respond to things. And I think this is a really powerful example of that. Okay, so I'm going to roll some dice to see if we can get some more information on what kind of energies we're dealing with here. But overall, I think, like I said, that middle part, it's not going to be fun, but you're going to get, you're not losing control here. You're just feeling some things. It happens. We're human. We feel things. As we say, we feel things. We have Pisces here. In the fourth house, yep, this definitely feels like this could be an emotional encounter when it comes to your most intimate, the fourth house is the house of home. It's the bottom of our chart. It is where we feel rooted. It is about our family and home life. It is about where we come from and our most intimate home life. So this is definitely something that I think is going to be made clear to you that you probably weren't looking at too closely before, because you were very focused on other parts outside of this very private part. And we have Uranus, so some change and information coming in fits in very nicely with that, and it having an emotional effect. So overall, the dice really just kind of confirm what we've been talking about. I really hope that this kind of prepares you, or confirms, if you're in the middle of this, confirms that you are absolutely going to be able to deal with this, feel it out, and then know that it's not going to control you. You've put a lot of work into yourself. You're able to decide how you respond. You don't have to be reactive, but you can take a moment, a step back to respond appropriately. All right? With that, I will leave you. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope I get to read for you again sometime. Bye. Hi, pile 3. If you picked the Big Surf, this bright blue, then this is your reading. We are going to set this up here. I'm going to put this kind of crooked because I want to remember which way this card came out. Sorry if that bothers you, but I'm worried I will forget, because that was actually the only card that came out in reverse. So it felt appropriate, so I want to honor that. Okay, so we are taking a look at your next episode, the next major development coming your way, and that also entails taking a look at your current energy. How are you heading into this situation? What is your current energy? All right, I do have to say this is the third reading, and everybody's starting off on a good foot. I like it. So we have Temperance. I think you've been perhaps meditating a lot. You've been staying hydrated, I hope. It feels like you are really kind of coming into this, whatever it is going to be, coming into this with a sure, steady foot. And immediately we get the Three of Swords. All right, let's see where this goes. I'm getting the vibe of a rainy day. I just heard I can't stand the rain. Perhaps memories coming back. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. This is interesting. This is too many cards, but let's take a look at them. Just taking a peek. We have the Knight of Swords, the Seven of Cups, and the Five of Wands. Feeling conflicted and confused over something that you possibly do want to pursue. But let's take a look. What card comes out next? Yep, something you do want to pursue. The Knight of Pentacles. It feels like, I think there is something that perhaps you've attempted in the past and it didn't quite pan out the way you wanted it to. And so you're working up a nerve to, I just heard apply again, which almost feels kind of like a job application, right? So almost like you've gained more, and this is just an analogy, apply it however it feels, but this is giving me the vibe of you applied for a job in the past and they were like, sorry, you need more experience for this position, and so you went out and got some more experience, and although you're still dealing with the fact that they rejected you last time, it feels like it is the time to apply for this position again. And that is you getting up the nerve to apply. And that is the height of this development. So let's see how this plays out. 7 of Swords. Interesting. And the 8 of Swords. My, don't let this take you out of this energy. This is beautiful energy, and it's just, it feels like a lot of mental stuff happening that I don't want this to take away from the beautiful flow that you're in. It almost feels like, because Temperance is very, like a very metaphysical state, and then this is a very 3D kind of thing where it's like the real world, like maybe you've just gotten back from a retreat or a vacation or a meditation seminar or something, being very like, very just in an energy of flow, and then the real world hits you and it just smacks you down. And if that is the case, then I think Spirit is wanting you to remember like the knowledge that you've gained about co-creating, about not pushing too much, but kind of going more with the flow. What is your energy at the end of this development? What is your energy at the end of this development? Okay. We got the Knight of Swords again that wanted to come out earlier, and so it feels like you don't lose any of your ambition. You don't lose, yeah, we have the 5 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. This feels very much like, you know what, you got this round. Maybe you won another battle, but I'm still willing to continue in this war. I just took a peek at the bottom. Underneath that is the Lovers, which feels, that can be about a love situation, but it can also be about just the passion that you have for something that you think is meant to be part of your path. This does feel very much like you are, I'm also getting, in terms of, you know how I said like a job application that got rejected, I'm also getting that maybe this is about like applying to a college and they rejected you, because this feels very much like Temperance, trying to manifest something, and maybe you applied for a certain program and you got denied, and you're like, okay, I can try again, and you're at a point where you're like, okay, now I'm going to try again. It feels like, though, and I'm going to clarify the 7 of Swords, it does feel like this, just the way this mirrors, this pain, this rejection in the past is clouding your, see, I can't even get the word out. I have it in my mind and I can't get it out. Confidence. My goodness, why was that so hard? Exactly, why is that so hard? Like, this is definitely clouding your confidence. I'm getting very much self-sabotage vibes from this, self-limiting thought patterns. And yet there's something in you where your drive is still like, no, I want this. And this very well might be a challenge from the universe, being like, because we have the Wheel of Fortune here, it feels very fated in terms of you feel like this is something that you really want, but also it might just feel like, you know, you're being put through the ringer because your dedication to this is being tested. Let's take a look at the 3 of Swords. The Justice card. This again feels like somebody weighing up how worthy or how eligible you are. Like, are you allowed in the program? Are you allowed in this job or not? Some like a judgment over you being called, and it not going in your favor. What's the Wheel of Fortune? The Wheel of Fortune is telling me that this is, even though it's not gone in your favor, that was the way it was supposed to go, because you in a sense weren't ready for whatever it was, because you still had some expansion, some change in perspective to do. Perhaps you have to come to a point where you recognize that it isn't like this kind of judgment doesn't make or break who you are. It is a judgment of a part of your life, but it isn't who you are. Let's take a look at the Seven of Swords. Who's the Seven of Swords? We have a story, including two of the cards that we already saw. We have the Page of Wands, the Five of Swords, and the Lovers. This feels very much like, I'll come back for you. But also like tiptoeing around something. And that's why I'm saying self-sabotage and being like, okay, I'm ready. Like you reach this point where I'm like, okay, I'm ready. But then are you actually handing in this application? I don't think you are. I think you're fumbling the bag here, in a sense. And I'm also getting, I don't know why, but I'm also getting the vibe of someone perhaps trying to take part in some type of competition. I don't know if this is like some kind of athletic competition and not being admitted to it or not being chosen in some way. This could be some kind of contest. Really like trying to manifest a lot and trying to let this flow into your life. And then when the time comes to submit your application or to do some kind of performative task that it involves, it's like somehow you drop the ball. And then only once you've dropped the ball, you're like, but I wanted it. But I feel like there's like this episode in between, or like this chapter in between where you're like, whatever. You try to detach. You try to detach from the outcome. And especially because I'm talking about manifestation, you are supposed to detach from the outcome when you're manifesting. But there's a difference between manifesting, working on the metaphysical realm and calling something in, and creating the space for it to come in the 3D. This is very, I think this is very deep-seated self-sabotage, and I can highly identify with that. Yeah, because you're intimidated by competition. Interesting. Yeah, but you can't deny that you're passionate about this and you want this and you're totally worthy of it. We have the Empress at the bottom of the deck. Totally worthy of whatever this is. I think the only thing that's in your way is the fact that you felt this sense of rejection and judgment in the past, and you're bringing that into, hey, sorry, my cat's making noise. You're bringing that into your next attempt, into your next go around, and because you're bringing that in, it's like, I just saw this image of, I don't know why, but this image of like imagine like a bowl of milk and then a drop of red dye. Once that hits the milk, it taints, or it colors. The whole bowl of milk is now pink. I hope that this makes sense. See, like you have these intentions of clearing your intentions, and then you still hold on to something that really kind of throws a wrench in everything into like your process. And I think you're doing that in a way that you can then confidently say after the fact, like, see, I knew it wasn't going to work out. See, I knew I was going to be rejected again. I knew that they weren't going to take me back. I don't know why I heard that. I knew that it wasn't, I wasn't going to get the job. I knew I wasn't going to be accepted to the program. So that then you can say you were right, but you still want it. So that's just a waste of time. And I get how easily that is said and so incredibly difficult to really like implement, but this is a total waste of time because this is not taking you anywhere you want to. This is the highest point of your development in this episode, right? So this is, you are ready. You are ready, and Spirit agrees you are ready. You have the Empress. You have the emotional. You're emotionally invested. You have. I mean, the Empress is smart, nurturing, and we have the King of Swords at the bottom. So this feels very much like you have the heart and the brain are in the right place. So I do feel the need to confirm that you, whatever this is that you are, whatever kind of judgment you're holding on to the past, that's not who you are anymore, because you have gone through a cycle that has expanded who you are. This is the version that was judged in the past is not who you are anymore, but you're still holding on to that judgment as if that were you. This is also giving me like body dysmorphia. This is kind of giving me like personality dysmorphia, like feeling like, oh, but I'm still this person, when it's like, no, you've gone through a full cycle. You've gone through like a change of perspective, and you've saddled up and you're ready to go again. You've gone through a whole season of development. Okay, let's take a look at your oracle card, and let's remember that it came out this way. Wow, we have Death. And the fact that it came out in reverse is so fitting. That is so fitting because, I mean, the Death card is many different things in many different ways, but in this case, it being in reverse feels very much like something not being completed, something not having run full cycle, something not having reached its fullest potential, which is only confirming. See, I knew it was supposed to come out in reverse, because if it would have been this way, I would have been inclined to say, yeah, whatever this is, just let it go and maybe go somewhere else. Although the rest of the cards don't agree with that either, but just in terms of the oracle card. But because it comes out in reverse, it's very much like, yeah, this isn't completed. This isn't. The Death card in reverse is very much speaking to exactly these aspects where you are trying to tell yourself, like, oh, I knew it wasn't going to happen anyway. Like, no, this is going to happen. And you have to trust, and you have to flow, and you have to release that, because if you don't release that, you're not flowing. You're in this current energy of wanting to flow. I get that. I think you are in many aspects, but it's like, you know, when we talk about flow, imagine like a river and the water just flowing, and you're this fish and you're in the river and just going with the direction. These two cards indicate that you're holding onto a rock for bare life instead of flowing with the water, and it's just so much more energy expanded than you just need to let go of those. And I know that's so difficult, but that's what I'm getting. Let me roll my dice to see what kind of energies we are picking up on here to possibly confirm or underline. Mars landing exactly here is very much like take action. This is 11th house and Virgo. Virgo is the overthinking aspect. 11th house is your dreams and wishes. It is also the house of friendships. But dreams and wishes is coming through very strongly, especially the way it landed on the Death card. There is a dream, a wish that you have. There's something that you want to pursue. There is a part of you that needs to release some aspect of rejection in the past that is giving you anxiety, that is making you think, that is causing like little, it's like having like a little sleeper cell in you that just activates right when it's important, and it's like activate power mode, and then your little sleeper cell goes and messes with all the buttons, and it goes beep 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 beep, and then it just puts you to sleep instead of activating power mode. Super random example, but that's how my brain works. So I would say really work on this. Try to maybe journal, try to write about the worst case scenarios. Get it out of your brain. Don't keep it in. Get the worst case scenarios out of your brain. Don't hold on to them. Sometimes when we see things on paper, we realize how silly they sound. So try and address that, shed some light on it, because awareness helps us control these kinds of things, okay? I'm going to leave it there. I hope that this was helpful, that it confirmed a thing or two or prepared you for this journey. Yeah, I think that is all. So thanks for joining me, and I hope to read for you again sometime. Bye.